सो सर, जैसा आपने शुरुआत में बताया कि आपने जो स्टार्ट किया है अपना करियर वो IBM स्पीच रिकग्निशन से, IBM रिसर्च में ऑन एवरीथिंग। तो अब मशीन लर्निंग जो थोड़ा बहुत बेसिक नॉलेज है मुझे उसमें, सिग्मॉइड फंक्शंस हैं, न्यूरल नेटवर्क्स है, एंड दीज लॉजिस्टिक रिग्रेशन, लीनियर रिग्रेशन, SVMs आर देयर। बट ये बहुत ही मतलब अच्छे से स्टूडेंट्स पढ़ने पे उसको एक्सप्लोर करते हैं। अभी होता क्या है कि जैसे जनरेटिव AI आया तो इतना सारा हाइप बन गया कि देखो AI विल किल जॉब्स नाउ। एक डेविन करके है जो स्कॉट वू ने बनाया है कि डेवलपर्स का जॉब चला जाएगा और वो सब। तो एंड देयर अ मैट्रिक्स मूवी कि भाई 1990s में 99 में ही आया था वो कि कैसे ह्यूमंस को रिप्लेस ही कर देगा वो, स्लीपिंग स्टेट में डाल देगा। सो एज अ AI एक्सपीरियंस पर्सन, will AI replace humans? Can you tell me?
देखिए, आई फील दिस डिबेट अबाउट ह्यूमंस गेटिंग रिप्लेस्ड keeps happening with every new generation of technology, right?
Right.
Cars आए, we said, oh, this will do something. So with every generation of technology, we have this fear, which is a valid fear, क्योंकि जो हमारे जो existing skills होते हैं ना, वो हमें अब छोड़ के नए स्किल्स पिकअप करने पड़ते हैं। दैट्स द मेन थिंग, ओके। क्योंकि I'll take my own example, right? Since ChatGPT came, I have become much more productive, whether it is in terms of code लिखना हो, whether it is in terms of writing my some article or whatever. I take help now, क्योंकि it is like the assistant you never had, an expert. English में भी expert है, technical things में भी expert है. So I think it's more about how do you use the power of that technology and do some new things with it, right? Because if I say कि मैं जो, even AI, if you look at it, so it has transformed so much, right? Expert systems होते थे जब मैं कॉलेज में जब मैंने पढ़ा था, वो AI was expert systems, rules. कोई बैठ के रूल बना रहा है और उस रूल को इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं, एंड दैट वाज AI. इफ आई से कि मैं वही, दैट्स माय AI एंड दैट्स ऑल आई विल कीप डूइंग, इट इज, I become irrelevant very soon, and obviously I will get replaced, क्योंकि मेरे उस AI की किसी को जरूरत ही नहीं है, and that AI is so brittle कि आज मैं अगर बोलूं कि भाई मैं एक्सपर्ट सिस्टम सीख के आया हूं और मैं वही करूंगा आज ऑफिस में बैठ के, तो nobody will take me, right? So each one of us has to learn to keep up with the time. AI ही है, but that AI itself has transformed. Every 3-4 साल it transformed. पहले it was machine learning, हम खूब सारा डेटा प्रिपेयर करके देते थे. विद जनरेटिव AI you don't even have to prepare that much of data. अब उसको सारा डेटा दे दो and that AI system learns itself, right? So the only way for us to not become irrelevant is to pick up new skills and keep ourselves relevant, right? वरना तो this job debate जो है, it is only valid if you refuse to pick up new skills and make yourselves relevant.
There is something, sir, मतलब अभी चूंकि मैं भी IBM पे हूँ, तो there is something responsible AI which is trending. That's a very big problem because I read about it, and responsible AI is a very crucial thing in any AI systems because it can be used unethically as well. Any technology that has been created is used ethically and unethically. So can you please comment on this?
See, AI has several problems the way it is built today, right? One is in the way the AI is trained, right? The data which is used to train the AI. So there was this beauty pageant जहाँ पे typically humans होते हैं judges, इसमें उन्होंने एक AI system को भी लगा दिया judge. तो that AI system, after observing the winners it was picking, देखा कि एक ही तरह के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स इट वाज सेलेक्टिंग इन इट्स विनर्स. तो देन पीपल थॉट कि अच्छा ये एआई सिस्टम होते हुए ऐसे क्यों कर रहा है या कर रही है व्हाटएवर. तो देन दे वेंट टू द जिस्ट ऑफ इट सेइंग कि अच्छा इसको जिन्होंने ट्रेन किया था उनके मन में ये बायसेस थे कि अच्छा ब्यूटी मतलब ऐसी नाक होनी चाहिए, ब्यूटी मतलब ऐसे बाल होने चाहिए. एंड वही जो है आपका जो बायस, जो ह्यूमन बायस था, वही बायस उस एआई सिस्टम में ट्रांसफर हो गया, राइट. सिमिलरली देयर आर मेनी ऑनलाइन एआई सिस्टम्स. उसमें फॉर एग्जांपल आई रेड दिस आर्टिकल एंड देन आई आल्सो ट्राइड. उसमें द क्वेरी वाज कि दुनिया के टॉप 10 लीडर्स ऑफ द डेमोक्रेटिक वर्ल्ड की फोटोज, शो देयर फोटोज. एंड इसमें यू सॉ ट्रम्प, 3 ट्रम्प थे उसमें. ट्रम्प इन दिस एंगल, दैट एंगल. देयर वाज मैक्रोन फ्रॉम, देन देयर वाज द यूके पर्सन. मोदी नहीं थे उसमें. सो I mean, the biggest democracy in the world, its leader has to be there in any top 10 list, right? But why was Modi not there? Again, the data didn't have it. जहां का भी data उठा के उन्होंने बनाया उसको, that data had only these people as the leaders of the democratic world, right? So, responsible AI means, one, you need to train it properly so that वो biases ना हो. ये beauty pageant doesn't affect anybody that much probably. Well, it does affect the participants. But if your AI, because आजकल thousands of applications आते हैं, many companies are now using AI to sift through the applications also. If that AI has a bias कि मुझे female candidates नहीं चाहिए या मेरे को इस कॉलेज के बच्चे नहीं चाहिए, if that kind of bias comes in, तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली आपका it's irresponsible AI, क्योंकि it has not considered merit, it has just taken some biased opinions of whoever trained it or the data which was there to build it, right? The other responsible AI aspect is data. One is data, because you want your AI system to be bias free, to be correct, or in a human sense, it should not be having any biases that might be there of race, color, religion, any of those things, right? The other is the responsible use of AI, right? I have AI technology, let us say face recognition technology. उसको मैं अपने मोबाइल फोन या लैपटॉप में लॉगिन करने के लिए भी यूज कर सकता हूँ. बट आई कैन ऑल्सो यूज इट टू से कि भाई इन माई रेस्टोरेंट जब लोग गेट पे आए, दरवाजा तभी खुलेगा जब वो इंसान ऐसा दिखे. अगर इफ बिकॉज ऑलरेडी कई रेस्टोरेंट्स आई you would also have read, कोई धोती में गया उसको बोला अच्छा तुम नहीं आ सकते अंदर, या कोई साड़ी में गई तो उनको बोला कि अच्छा जी हमारे यहाँ पे साड़ी नहीं चलती है. तो those kind of how do you use your AI? Do you use it to segregate people, uh, don't give them certain opportunities? So that is responsible AI. One is on the data side, you use data properly. Second is on the use of your models, so that you use it in a way that is inclusive.
दैट्स एक्चुअली क्रूशियल पॉइंट है, बिकॉज अभी जैसे एक केस हुआ था, उसमें आई गेस केस हुआ था या ऐसा यूज़ केस था कि आपकी वॉइस कॉपी कर सकता है, AI क्रिएट कर सकता है, जनरेट कर सकता है. तो उन्होंने कॉल किया अपने बेटी के वॉइस में उनके, और उनको फिरौती बोला कि मैं यहाँ पे किडनैप हूँ, आप इतना पैसा भेज दीजिए. अब वो हड़बड़ाहट में कोई इंसान वेरीफाई भी नहीं करेगा कि ये क्या है. तो फ्रॉम द टेक्नोलॉजी या सर्विस प्रोवाइडर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू हमको ये चेक करना पड़ेगा कि जो वॉइस आ रहा है उसको, उसका यूज़ केस है एक अलग, इसका भी हमको यूज़ केस डेवलप करने पड़ेंगे. तो सर जैसे हम देख रहे हैं कि क्लासिकल कंप्यूटिंग सिर्फ क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग बहुत पावरफुल है, एंड कि अब जैसे क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग इज मल्टीफोल्ड एक्सपोनेंशियली पावरफुल, और मशीन लर्निंग और क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग का एक यूज केस है क्वांटम मशीन लर्निंग जिसको हम यूज करते हैं। जैसे कि मैंने इतना पढ़ा है कि दे क्रिएट अ सर्किट and run based on this optimization problem which is we are going to solve for machine learning, and then we run it on the quantum computer, and since it is exponentially fast it can solve this optimization problem much faster. Similarly, artificial intelligence at the very core is deep learning and machine learning. So with this artificial and quantum computing, is there a future which is means not even known to the general public? मतलब वो ऐसा फ्यूचर है कि जब क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग का यूज आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस में बहुत प्रोमिनेंटली हो जाएगा, क्योंकि बहुत फास्ट भी हो जाएगा और बहुत पावरफुल भी हो जाएगा।
टेक्नोलॉजी तो इम्प्रूव होती जाएगी, राइट, एंड यू आर राइट कि जब क्वांटम एंड एआई साथ काम करने लग जाएंगे इन द नेक्स्ट फ्यू इयर्स, वी आर गोइंग टू सी many applications which we can't imagine today. वो जो जापान वाला मैंने आपको बताया था, as soon as you put technology in the hands of millions of people, वो एक अपनी लाइफ ले लेता है, you know, whether those 10 million अच्छे यूज केसेस में यूज कर रहे हैं, बुरे में कर रहे हैं. So certainly governments, regulatory organizations के पास एक बहुत बड़ा challenge तो आएगा to how do you regulate this technology, and is it even regulatable? Because technology, we have seen it's very hard to regulate things like this. In fact, जो आपने example दिया, जो बेटी का call गया, and today there is no technology to even figure out which is fake and which is correct. AI is not able to recognize whether that thing, that voice which was generated by AI or it is human. That quality has become so good, right? तो आपके पापा भी फूल हो सकते हैं, और AI तो ऑलरेडी फूल हो चुका है उससे, right? It's not able to distinguish. So these problems, yes, ये तो अब बढ़ेंगी in future, and how we tackle these problems, it's going to be really important, because for every technology there is dual use, both good and bad uses, and how we figure out how to stop that bad use or reduce it, like the UPI fraud wala. Most people on UPI are good people, they do good normal transactions, but a handful commit fraud on them. It's 0.01%, okay, very small number, but there is a threshold जिसके वो ऊपर चला जाए ना, तो UPI will break, because people will no longer trust UPI, and that number is usually not a very big number. 40-50% नहीं जरूरत है, 1 or 2% is enough. Okay, so for example, I was reading in New York, there is this problem in the subway they are facing, that there are these mentally unstable people who are pushing people in front of the train. Okay, now कितने cases हैं ऐसे? 4-5, but it has completely eroded the trust in the subway system. Why? Because thousands of people use the subway, lakhs of people use it. 4-5 cases have cast so much loss of confidence in that. Same way, any technology, usme you don't need thousands of cases on anything. After a small threshold, people lose confidence in that technology, and hence for AI also we need to make sure that we don't let it cross that threshold, because after that it's mayhem.
Right, so that's why the support from the government and industry and students and universities should be there, and the collaboration is the crucial part of it. there should be equal development of the technology and the countermeasures as well. So with this what trying to ask is, there are many companies working on this. Accenture is there, I came to know in one of my podcasts I was listening to. Accenture is there. TCS Research is working very hard on this. There are IASC, IIT Madras and IIT Bombay Research. So if we can get some outline that, since you are in this field and you are interacting with many parties across the industry and the academia, आप बता सकते हैं कि कौन सी कंपनीज कुछ प्राइम फोकस क्या है, क्योंकि अलग अलग कंपनीज के अलग अलग फोकस हैं इस फील्ड को लेकर. तो इफ वी कैन नो कि क्या फोकस IBM, क्या फोकस IBM तो ओवरऑल फोकस में भी है, एंड IBM का बहुत सारे टारगेट्स हैं. इवन अभी उन्होंने शायद 2024 में कंप्यूटर लॉन्च किया था 200 क्यूबिट्स का या मोर देन 230 क्यूबिट्स का. तो देयर आर मेनी प्लान्स ऑल्सो देयर. तो क्या फोकसेस है कुछ कंपनीज का, जैसे आप बता सकते तो.
देखिए, पहला फोकस तो सबका यही है कि मैथमेटिकली अभी there are several places where it has been shown कि quantum algorithms will perform, huge speed ups on classical. जैसे आपने Shor's algorithm बताया for factorization, or Grover's algorithm for search. So mathematically it has been shown, right? But there are no quantum computers today which can run these algorithms, okay, and demonstrate that value yet, okay. So अभी जो है quantum computers are also growing exponentially in their power and capability. Like you have Moore's law. Every 2 years, the power of our classical computers double होता रहता है. उसी तरह that same exponential similar some law is quantum is also following. So there is no doubt hardware is improving, right, by leaps and bounds every year. IBM का roadmap आपने कहा, by 2033, IBM is saying we will reach 100,000 qubits, right? So that growth is happening. Now the question is, using these current जो quantum computers हैं, आप किस तरह के problem solve कर सकते हैं, right? So as a business, if I am a bank, I am most interested कि भाई मेरे कौन कौन से problems quantum computer solve कर सकता है, जो कि आज मैं कर नहीं सकता using my compute power which is there, right? So that is what all these top companies you mentioned, TCS, Accenture, LTIMindtree, Infosys, IBM, सबका यही फोकस है अभी कि आज जो क्वांटम कंप्यूटर्स अवेलेबल हैं या नेक्स्ट ईयर जो क्वांटम कंप्यूटर्स अवेलेबल होंगे, इनको यूज करके व्हाट आर दोज बिजनेस प्रॉब्लम्स मैं सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ या कर सकती हूँ. एंड दैट्स वेयर दैट गूगल प्राइज यू मेंशन्ड इज आल्सो सिटिंग. दे हैव सेड अच्छा ये रहा हमारा प्राइज मनी, ये रहे क्वांटम कंप्यूटर्स, आप जाइए एंड ब्रिंग मी 1 or 2 एप्लीकेशंस where you are showing कि आज का क्वांटम कंप्यूटर, नॉट 10 साल आगे वाला, आज के क्वांटम कंप्यूटर को यूज करके आप कौन सा बिजनेस प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे हो. एंड दैट्स व्हाट दैट प्राइज इज अबाउट. ओके, एंड देयर आर सेवरल सच hackathons, challenges which are there. Maybe this is the one with the biggest prize money so far, right? So every company, every individual, every person today working in quantum is thinking that how can I be that person who will come up with that first set of good business use cases which will help whether finance, pharma, healthcare, logistics, any of those use cases.
So in short, means if I may conclude that it was basically that the use cases we are finding, and we are developing the quantum computer as well for multiple qubits as well. Business use cases are planned by Accenture. In building this quantum computer, there is a big race between two companies. I don't know about Microsoft and all, but IBM and Google are the ahead of time. It's they're leaps and bounds ahead of many companies, because if you see the market, there was recently a experiment like 2 years back, Google quantum supremacy. So I read it. I thought that finally it's proved. But then I came to know the report from the IBM CEO, maybe J. Gambata, or I don't know exactly the name, that he said this experiment is not good to be tested as a valid use case. So can you explain what is what was the supremacy, and is it really realized?
Yeah. So see, quantum, as I said, the race is कि आज की टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज करके which is that use case you can show जहां पे quantum computer is performing much better either in terms of speed, accuracy, cost. कोई एक मेट्रिक ले लो, एक या दो मेट्रिक्स, एंड शो की क्लासिकल quantum can do much better. Okay, so it is in this problem, in this context, जहां गूगल सेट कि हम एक सैम्पलिंग वाला डेटा सेट क्रिएट करेंगे which has nothing to do with any real business setting. Okay, उन्होंने they created a problem, a new kind of data set which they said कि भाई हम जो हैं इस डेटा सेट पे we will show कि जो है क्लासिकल कंप्यूटर को बहुत साल लग जाएंगे. I think they said 10,000 something or whatever. एंड यही प्रॉब्लम जो है क्वांटम जो है वो कुछ ही मिनट्स में सॉल्व कर देगा, राइट? सो द पॉइंट इज कि people are now looking for problems where they can show कि quantum will do much faster or better. So supremacy जो है that is to say कि it doesn't matter वो business problem हो या science problem हो या कोई man-made problem हो, हम उस पे दिखाएंगे. That's what Google said. IBM says that we will show what we call quantum advantage. What is quantum advantage? हम ऐसा प्रॉब्लम लेंगे जो which is business, valid for business. हम कोई imaginary data set या a data set which does not have any business relevance ऐसा नहीं लेंगे. And I think that is the debate, but I don't think that is an important debate. The important debate is कुछ भी लो, can you show कि quantum is much better? And I think the new prize from Google is to correct what they did in 2019 जहां उन्होंने एक a made up data set लिया था. Now they are saying move away from made up and go to this where take a real problem and solve it. Okay, and that's what IBM is also doing, and that's what many companies today are after. So the holy grail is ki take a business problem and show ki quantum will do much better and classical will not reach there.
So that's a big race or tussle or fight we can say between Google and IBM.
Correct. It's a race not only between. It's a race not only between IBM and Google, but it's a race between India, China, US, Germany, Japan. 30 or odd countries have said कि हम एक national mission बनाएंगे. हम इस national mission में इतने पैसे डालेंगे, huge money. And हम चाहते हैं कि हमारी country सबसे आगे निकल जाए in the race for quantum. Okay, so it's I mean, whether people admit it or not, it's a national race. It is also a race between companies. And that point you made, ki, earlier GDP as a function of GDP investment. In the US, you can see it is the private companies which are taking the lead. It's not the government or anybody. The government investment is going mostly into universities and all of that. But which is fine for them because they already have an industry which is taking care of itself. India mein, how do we bring that is the big question.
That's what I was coming to, because the rest two questions were like that. That the race between Google and IBM is the industry race, but
Yeah.
the country's contribution, like I think China has created their own quantum computer. IBM has created in US, but Indians have still to create this quantum computer. I think there is a project in IISc to create first 8 qubit quantum computer, but I don't know if how far we have reached. So where do we actually stand on the world scale purely on the Indian research basis? Means obviously it's a shared technology between multiple countries, but where do we actually stand and what can we do to improve it?
देखिए, everybody doesn't have to do the same thing. If you look at classical world today, US has its strength, but it is Taiwan which produces 90% of the high-end chips today. Okay, they picked
Correct.
one in the 1980s. It was a chota piece of the puzzle of hardware and industry, electronics, everything. छोटा सा पीस लिया, उसको बोला कि इसको हम बहुत अच्छे से करेंगे, and we will become the leaders in the world. TMSC today, 90% of all the high-end chips are made in Taiwan. Okay. Same way in quantum, not all the countries have to do the same thing. करना भी नहीं चाहिए. Okay. And no country can do everything also. It is impossible. We have to pick our strengths. Our strengths are certainly in applications and algorithms. वो तो हमें छोड़ना ही नहीं चाहिए. Okay. In the hardware piece, we need to pick up what are those places. Qubit में certainly we are way behind right now. Many places have reached hundreds of qubits. We are still saying कि हम 8 qubit, 4 qubit वहां पे हैं, और वो भी programmable qubits नहीं है. They're just qubits in the lab which you are showing कि अच्छा मैं इसको ऐसे rotate कर दूंगा, इसको मैं ये वाला spin दे दूंगी, I will do the readout. But it is not a qubit which I can use. भले ही 2 qubit बनाओ आप, but are they qubits which I as a user can use? We need to think in that fashion. It's not important to just put things in the lab. Remember our story of semiconductor hardware and software. Until an industry grows, you have not won the race. You have only created talent, and that talent is going to go wherever it's needed. Okay, you can't stop talent. So in that fashion, I also don't know what is the right answer. Okay, which is it that India should pick? But the National Quantum Mission, there were calls for proposals which DST brought out. Usme there are hundreds of professors and teams, not individual professors. These are teams. Okay, hundreds of proposals put in by several hundreds of teams across India have put in proposals. Now we need to sift through this carefully, quickly. We can't take कि एक साल ले लिया select करने में ही, वो भी काम नहीं होगा. 1-2 महीने के अंदर we have to select the right things from here. Who can execute? What is the amount of money they need? How do we enable them? And after enabling them, unki technology ko how can we use it in industry? Ye pura we have to think through, because otherwise, we put the money, but we didn't take advantage of it.